Hey, hey, bom dia, galera. Peace and love, YouTube. Imara Ifawuyi coming to you from Bahia, Brazil. Um, it's a beautiful day. Still on a quest to find a quiet place to make a video. But today I wanted to just talk about what it means to be a changing woman. I didn't describe in the last video what the influence of that term is and why I named the Patreon Changing Woman as a hub for women where we'll be holding space for each other and kind of just creating community for women that are creatives, that are mothers who are on healing journeys, that are mothers that are living alternatively, they're schooling their children alternatively, unschooling their children, realizing that it's not about sticking to what we already have been fed, but actually, making a whole new dish, doing something totally different. So the changing woman concept comes from Navajo tradition, American indigenous people, and basically it has to do with the change cycles of a woman's life. Really it speaks to how the masculine and the feminine energies are balanced, always being balanced out through these cycles. And so we go through a process. You all know the cycles that women in particularly go through. Just even on a 28-day in a 28-day period, but also through life, moving through the birth, the adolescence, the childbearing, the crone stage into the death stage. And so it's really a time where so many of us are just stepping into, that wild woman, that changing woman energy, and we need to really embrace that. And it's I feel like right now, it's like so many people are coming to me and they're just trying to figure out, man, like, how can I get out there and live similar to you in terms of not being bound by location, not being bound by mainly any kind of mental prisons we put ourselves in that keep us stuck to, like, for instance, living somewhere like the U.S., which is a sinking ship. Y'all already know there's so much negative energy over that place that it's like, at some point, I'm not saying everybody has to leave. I'm not saying some won't stay and go through what they have to go through. But we have so many layers of attack that's taking place, particularly in the U.S., that I think it's important that more of us start coming together and trying to figure out ways we can tribe up, link up, form communities, do, group investing so that we can acquire more property and land and things that can be utilized as a community. So these are some of the things that I'm thinking about building on these days, off-grid living, what it's like to be out here on the road, unschooling your children, so taking them out of the desk and the cubbies with the little, what do they got them in, little plastic freaking bins now, schooling with masks, all kinds of masks on the face, got 4 or 5 masks on, just looking crazy. Okay, over what again? We really can't even say. So the whole thing is just insane. And, I really question the sanity of anyone who's participating in any kind of school situation with their children right now. These are not safe places to have children, not by any means. And so, contemplating what it would look like going from here, especially if you have young children that you're still trying to get the basics into, how it is important for them to be able to be functional and have the basics and to know certain things. But even more important is their real life skills, their real capacity to transform and become whatever they need to based upon having this vast exposure to so many different things. So, learning languages, learning how to build, learning how to do different types of art forms, even learning how to take care of the land, how to grow food, how to build with natural construction materials, how to create beautiful foods that are sustaining and healthy and delicious, knowing how to fix vehicles, just all of the things that people could know, knowing how to do plumbing, knowing how to work with electricity, whatever it is. These are all things that we need to be trying to figure out how we can get this knowledge and know-how into the children because they've taken the children away from vocational and have been constantly trying to get them to move into these realms of just nothingness, basically. So that they are unskilled, so they don't know how to build going forward into the future. And so these are the things that we focus on when it comes to the unschooling and the alternative schooling and the alternative kind of education. And so bon dia. Sorry about that. So yeah, so that's one thing that we want to just build about on the platform, on the Patreon. But also, I really want to make myself available to people who are in the process of planning and getting out there and really making this dream a reality, and helping them walk through the step-by-step process of that, because I've gone out on a limb, I've conquered the fear, and I have brought my family along with me time and time again. This is just part of my journey of understanding that there are no boundaries, that you can do and create whatever you want. So I feel like I'm a good resource for us, particularly women, even though I build with the brothers too. Papas, I have papas that reach out to me, and I connect with them, consult with them, create programs for them that will enable them to kind of go through a step-by-step process of preparing to get out there in the world and just live. And like for me right now, at one time it was very much like a nomadic experience of just exposure to different things and getting my kids out there. But where I'm at right now is promoting people to really get into a mind state of getting settled somewhere where they can grow their food, they can connect with community, they can build relationships and build strong relationships around their children. Or even, for instance, if you're a single parent, you can have a support team around you to help support things in regards to your children. That even if you are without a whole lot of family, without a whole lot of familial support, you still will feel like you have family out in the world. So creating and building this new world is going to involve a lot of this creating family as you go, because at the end of the day, so many of us are being alienated from our blood relatives, from our family. I know me as kind of like the quote-unquote black sheep. That's been an ongoing thing. I mean, my family's sweet and nice mostly and everything, but I've always kind of been on the outskirts of things because I've always lived outside the box and really just didn't know how to process that all the way. And now so many of our families are, giving into this agenda, and y'all already know what it is. I'm not even about to break that down because there's no point. They're just going to take my video down. So, they're giving into this agenda, they're submitting to fear, they're making themselves participating in experiments that are being carried out by entities that have not our best interests in mind by any means, quite the opposite. And so a lot of our families are just lost in the sauce of this time. You know what I mean? Gone. And so we have to be in the mentality of creating that wherever we're at. So I don't really see the whole luxury, traveling around, nomading around, being cutesy in that way as much as I see the importance of building community where you can, and then being open to having to nomad, having to shift if you need to. Because also, like for instance, where I'm at now in Brazil, has shifted greatly over the last 6 months of me being back out here, to the point where, because so many of the people are indoctrinated and basically zombified on this agenda that's being launched on them, that they can't see it, they cannot see it, and it's the vast, vast, vast majority. For me, somewhere like this is beautiful and wonderful, but how long is it going to be a long-term option for me and my family, given the mass hypnosis that we're around, that we're having to kind of move through and get around. And yeah, there are those that are awake still, because that's everywhere you go. There's going to be awakened ones. There's going to be ones that are still on that journey of just, basically fighting for their lives, basically. And so, there are some of those out here, but mostly it's like serious entrainment, like just on it. And so, you have to always consider the fact that you might start building somewhere and have to release it and keep shifting and keep going. But I feel like, keeping that deeper, bigger picture in mind right now, not getting the perfect picture by the pyramids of Giza, getting the cute picture in Greece with the all white in the background. I don't really think that's what it is right now. It feels like it's time for all of us to be really considering the bigger picture of what's happening. I think y'all know probably a little bit about what's going on overseas in Russia and out that way, and it's serious times. Like, we could bury a hole or dig a hole and hide our heads in it if we want. But it's serious out here. There's so much going on. It's so much going on. Like, right now is the time to be really figuring out where you can be, where you can build, who you can build with, and so that's why I feel like moving towards forming some kind of online community that then maybe can become a real life like-minded soul community for women, and then for also those that's around them that they have vetted out, particularly if they're males, very, very deeply, so some enlightened divine males, so it's looking to just build community in that way. So y'all already know what it is. Stay close to your ancestors right now. They're going to be major guides for you if you deal with Orisha, if you deal with spiritual diviners, anything like that. Be very careful, because there's a lot of charlatans out here, to the point where there's a lot of great diviners and great people out here that are still doing the works. There's a lot of charlatans, so be very careful if you're moving in any kind of spiritual communities. There's just so many of them, so many on YouTube still, so many out here preying on women in particular, especially single women, especially women that's got children, because they look for vulnerabilities. And so we need to be very, very careful and really, stay on this healing path, this soulful journey, and move mostly with each other at this time. That's what I see. And that's because, we can kind of rely and trust each other in a way that is hard to open up to and do with anyone else. So, yeah, if you feel the vibes and the content, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, please. Check out the Patreon. I'm going to leave the link below. Again, that's the Changing Woman Patreon. It's a hub for women on a soulful healing journey. Come through and let's, this is particularly for mamas, for people who are carving new paths for themselves. Come through. It's time. And I know that I have other sisters that's building different communities, and my sister Zakia, she has her shapeshifter community. Zakia was based in Oakland, now she's international, but I've got sisters that's doing similar things, but we all have our niche and our thing. So for me, y'all know my background is indigenous womb healing. I have a background in alternative medicine. My master's is in alternative medicine. I've worked with a lot of women, in regards to recovering their womb health and really, really getting to the point where they can, successfully have children, where they can release fibroid cells, where they can, regulate and bring themselves back in balance after dealing with stuff like PCOS, endometriosis, and things like that for so many years. So that is a lot of the work I've done over the last years, but I had kind of been slowed down on it as of lately, just been focusing where I'm at here and just shifting and transitioning to Brazil. But, there's so many things I have to share. I have a background and a certification in postpartum support for women from the Morocco traditional perspective, so I can support women in that way. Yoga instructor, certified yoga instructor, and just so many things. A background with herbs, a background living in the tropics, and just connecting with folks that know the land and being connected to the bush and the land and all the things. So many things that I want to share. So hopefully some of y'all sisters will come on out. Got love for you. Yeah, man. Check the vibes, and we will be in contact real soon. I will be on here regularly. That is my goal for 2022, that I will be able to at least be consistent with videos. Okay?